Alright, today is Monday, March 19th. It's the start of the new trading week, and this is Jonathan Cho providing market update or forecast for FP markets. I just want to draw your attention. I guess the main thing that I think needs to be looked at for any trading, or just really just betting anything this week. What's really at a key point right now is dollar yen, and based on dollar yen, I'm going to basically kind of base all my like decision making based on dollar pairs and gold and um, and and so what we have here is a situation. If you look, if you've been trading dollar yen, I mean obviously you know that it's been in a big correction since it reached the 118s, dropped down to the low 111s or the mid 111s. And what you actually have here, if you actually just look at a naked chart, this is a 4-hour chart. Okay, before it was a daily chart, but now it's a 4-hour chart. You can see that price was trending down if you follow my arrow, and then it broke above what could be, you could say, these two trend lines. It's hard to say if these are not really going to be like hard and fast trend lines, just because I think there's just different ways you could draw this. But just this region, if you just look at the overall trend, it's been down, and then you got a higher low here, followed by a break of both of these trend lines, and then a higher high. So this is very important because you had price break this high over here. Okay, so price here broke that high. What's going to happen now, you also had a higher low. What's going to happen now is, if you watched the last previous video, you would have seen that I was saying that price is around here, and I was looking for a pullback to retest this trend line. Okay, that was in the last video. Okay, and that's exactly what's happened. Now, this is an area where I'm interested in buying. Okay, anywhere in like the mid 112s on downwards, with a stop below, with a stop basically, depending on where you take the trade. I mean, if you're just holding a position with low leverage, you can just put on like you know like 100, 150 pips off, depending on where, depending on where you get in. Just stop below at like 111.50, like below these lows here. But if you intraday trade, basically what you have to do is you have to watch out for. I mean, to just long this outright is something that seems like, oh well, I might just do that, but the problem is this can easily continue to drop down. The safest course of action is just to wait until this builds some kind of base, and then you see some kind of higher high and higher low, and then another higher high. So it would look like it would just be up, higher low, higher high, and then a higher low here. So you actually have this higher high breaking these highs, the prior high, something like that. Or if you want to be even more conservative, or if you want to, I guess another way to look at it is you could wait for these highs to break. If price breaks above this and then pulls back, any kind of pullback would provide a good entry to go long with a stop below these lows. So there's multiple options for how to go long, okay, and they all provide their own risk reward ratios and their own probabilities of success. But that's the main thing I'm going to be looking for in dollar yen, and I think this is going to be the start of a major move to the upside. It'll be which will be fantastic because it'll provide really great trending price action, not just in dollar yen but in the euro. We'll get enough of this crap, just sort of crappy, like ranging around and like low movement, like type of like euro trading. I mean, not in the last week or so with NFP and like the FOMC, but how it's been a little before that, it just hasn't been great. And so once this dollar yen, it seems like it's broken out of this major correction. Once this really gets going, which certainly this week is primed to do. This could really provide some fantastic opportunities to go long. I mean, if you see the same thing, like if I look at this is another yen pair. I have CAD yen at a lot of support. This is on this 4-hour chart, so it's right around these lows. I thought, it seemed like this might hold to go higher, but it didn't hold along with dollar yen falling a lot, which is sort of okay, doesn't not make sense. But you have price holding at support here, and this dollar yen at support here, CAD yen at support here, where where this prior low is. If I zoom in a bit, this could provide supporting supporting reason to believe that maybe dollar yen will also hold this low. So if also another way you can trade dollar yen is if CAD yen, let's say, breaks above these highs and pulls back in a very decent way. That would also be very bullish, and that would provide very good long entry signal. So if I look at euro yen has been in this big correction along with dollar yen on this weekly chart. Actually, on this daily chart. So you see this big correction down, and then you have a break of basically what is sort of like this rough flag, if you just kind of look at it that way, something along these lines, okay, like that. And then you have another one on the lower end, okay. Well, it's clearly broken out, okay, and it has retested. And so another option is to use euro yen as a way to get long dollar yen. But if you kind of look at these pairs, they're all in long entry areas, but they haven't turned bullish yet. They're still, the trend is still technically down, and so it's not really great to go long yet. Okay, I'm not gonna bet necessarily right on that happening unless I put my stop on dollar yen at like 11.50. All right, that's the only way that would actually make sense, because it's very easy for price to drop, stop me out, and then go up. And so I don't want to do that. I have to put my stop where it makes sense. And then if I look at Swiss yen, same type of thing. It's very similar to euro yen, but it looks maybe a bit cleaner. And so you've had that breakout on this daily chart. It's been pulling back a bit, but this is, if you look at this being low, and lower high, and then you have a higher low, and then you have these highs breaking that trend. On this pullback, either here or even down to here, you are going to get a lot of buying because this broke that, and that would suggest a continuation of this major move up, and that this correction is over. Okay, and so this is pretty exciting time finally, where you're gonna get a lot of great price action. One thing to watch out for though is that gold and dollar yen has been inversely correlated. So when gold goes up, dollar yen goes down. And I was saying I said in the last video, what I'm looking for is dollar yen to go down for a further pullback as gold finds support at the 1200 area, and that's obviously you see gold now at 1230. And so the thing is, gold, as if you watch the last video, has broken this downtrend with this higher high, and so you got this higher low, of course. The problem is to really confirm this high at like 1375-ish needs to break. If dollar yen is really bottoming out here, that is spelling a lot of trouble for gold. Okay, that means gold is going to go down, and in a significant way. So the only way both of these longer term charts can both be bullish, dollar yen and gold, is if the correlation between dollar yen and gold breaks, and correlations, sort of reorganize and break over, often like every few months, usually. So that wouldn't surprise me, and I'm kind of hoping or sort of expecting that to happen. But I'm not going to like bet against it. So I'm not gonna if I'm going long dollar yen, I'm not gonna also go long gold. Okay, I'm going to wait until the correlation. I actually see the correlation break, because some people will start trading maybe a potential break of the correlation, or it'll kind of happen over time where the dollar yen will go up, but instead of gold going down, gold just is flat. Something like that. It'll happen in stages, and then once you see inklings of the correlation reversal, more people will start to jump into it, and that correlation will reverse. That hasn't happened yet, and so this is kind of testy ground right now. That all of that is I'm looking at all of that, as well as a possible shift in the euro, as well as a change in the possible dollar yen euro dollar uh, correlation as well. When dollar yen has been going up, euro dollar has been going down, and that was going on for a while until about last week when you saw actually a lot of mixed movement where dollar yen would go up and euro dollar would go up, even though normally it was the reverse, where as dollar yen, as basically dollar yen went up, euro went down. That kind of sort of has been breaking up recently. So this is a time to watch for the gold, euro, dollar yen to see what the correlations sort of are like this week, and watch that for a lot of signs for entries and trends and all of that stuff. But the most important one is dollar yen. I'm not gonna bet against dollar. I would rather bet against the gold breakout, longer term breakout on this weekly chart. I would rather bet on against that than bet against dollar yen. And so I'm gonna use, again, as I said at the beginning of the video, dollar yen as the major like fulcrum for my analysis. Okay. So anyway, I hope that helps. Anyway, and good luck trading this. So yeah, have a good week.